climbing mean to you?
Climbing for me is a form of therapy. It's a good way to deal with my stress in my day-to-day, so it's a good way to escape from university, and it's better than drinking, so it's a healthy way for me to de-stress, and it's become almost my life.
Why do you climb?
I quite like the adrenaline. There's something about, in trad, there's something about just focusing in and just knowing that, the next move could be quite dangerous, and it's a bit risky. I quite like that, and it's quite, when you top out and you're safe, you feel quite enlightened. And then maybe for sport, it's something about just being so concentrated into that move, remembering those 10 exact moves perfectly, and trying to just climb to perfection.
Could you talk about what it's like to spend a long time projecting at your limit, and what it means to you?
Yeah, I think it's a good sign of progression for a climber. Like you always find your grade you're stuck at, and you can just go and for a project, it's a climb you can do dogged. It's a climb you can get to the top, but with rests. So it's a good way. You don't try it all the time, but every few months, like I did, I'd come back to it and give it another go and see some progression somehow. Like I got further up the climb without needing a rest, and it makes you feel good because in climbing it's quite hard to see progression because grades are so subjective. But to choose one climb, it's never going to change. So that climb, no matter what the grade is, you can see progression just through the climb. Even though if it's important, even if it's a years out, you should be able to see progression. Hopefully, if your training's going well and you're climbing well. So.
And what's that feeling when you finally finish your project? When you top out on it, what's that like?
More like a sigh of relief. I think it was awesome. I mean, it was nice to get a climb, which it was a grade very close to 7A, so it made me happy thinking I can maybe soon get 7A. But also, it was just an amazing climb. I really enjoyed it as a climb, and it was nice just to be able to say I've done it. But yeah, it was also just it was kind of a weird one because it's also like, what the fuck do I do now? Like, what do I do now when I'm like trying to think, this is what I'd go, every time I'd go to this place in Resilia, this is what I'd try. This is like that'd be like what I'd save my day up for. Now I'm kind of like lost again, trying to find my next climb. It's kind of like, it's a craving. It's like now you want to find your next project, and it's going to be the same thing over again. It's going to be the same anger. Just anger mainly when you're projecting because your frustration. But yes, it's a good feeling. Otherwise, we wouldn't be projecting, I think, as a climber.
Climbing can be quite demoralising at times. What motivates you to persevere and keep climbing?
With plateaus, I don't mind so much. I can just keep training. I know hopefully it should get better, but I don't become fixated on grade chasing sometimes. So I'm quite happy to do something quite simple. As long as I'm outdoors, I don't really mind. When I'm injured, it kind of sucks a lot more. You can't do what you want to do. So with finger injuries, it's okay. You can still maybe climb, and if not, you can just do photography. But when you have something more major, like a shoulder injury, it really limits you. You can't do anything with your upper body, so it's quite demoralising, and you have to find other ways to get around it. So probably more hiking and watching, but it does suck, yeah.
Can you talk a little about your injury, how it happened, what happened, and how it felt to take a break from climbing, and how you dealt with that?
Which injury?
Good question, yeah.
Last year in the June, I went to the Gower Climbing Festival, and I was on a climb called Kaiser, and it's quite a wet crack start, and it involves a lot of getting your whole body into the crack, and there's not much protection, so the gear we did have was maybe not the correct size, so accidentally took a slip on that, and my protection all popped out, which made me have a big fall, and I landed upside down into my shoulder, so I compressed my shoulder onto the rock, and then after that I had pain in my shoulder for a long time. I was climbing quite a lot as well, so there's probably some more bruises there. But I think it took me for climbing for 4 or 5 months, and even then, even now I'm not 100% back. But the way I dealt with it, I went on a pilgrimage. I went for a walk, so I walked for I think 500 miles around Spain, and I didn't think of climbing that whole time. It was quite nice just to think of something else and to meet new people. But it was almost like a distraction because I always wanted to go back to climbing. So yeah, I think that's probably how I dealt with it. I just went walking and drank a lot of red wine.
What has your injury taught you, and has it changed your perspective on climbing at all?
Yeah, my injuries have taught me warming up is a lot more important than I thought it was. And we were always told when we do sports to warm up, but I think with climbing specifically, we should take it more seriously, especially the stretches to warm up your shoulder muscles, especially, which is why I injured. But yeah, it's definitely made me more precautious, but I think also a better climber. So now I'm much more careful about my climbing.
What do you think it is about climbing that resonates with people so much that we're seeing such a massive rise in the amount of people taking it up?
Climbing's like, it's got everything you like. If you like adventure, you like outdoors, you get to do all of it. There's the walk in, there's a beautiful walk usually, the scramble, the approaches, the climbing itself, you're just outdoors, and you have something to do, whereas hiking can be quite repetitive. Climbing is always getting your heart rate up for a reason, it's quite exciting.